Alrighty, so Jormungand is out, and I've been messing around with her quite a bit today and a little bit last night after summons with the deer, because honestly, I don't have the most experience with the deer. I've really only done it enough to get, I think I have 2 of the deer relics. I can't remember exactly. I know I got the materials that I needed to make Magelda's relic, and then I actually had to get the actual deer materials to make Ludo's relic, and I just made Margaret's relic today. So I don't have the most experience maybe with the deer, so don't, take this video with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I just wanted to talk about my experience with it so far as I've been messing around with the character. This seems to be a very popular team that I see a lot more people using for the deer. So it's Jormungand, Brunhild, Scotty, and the one Escanor, of course. I know that some people are still using Trader Melly, and I do kind of want to try out a Trader Melly team, but I kind of want to get away from Trader Melly if possible, because he's going to clog my hand up, and I'm not going to be able to pull the right cards, which means that I could end up having to reset more often. But let's hop into this really quickly. So the big thing here that I have experienced so far is that Jormungand is good. I really do think that she is the only reason I've been able to beat floor 3. But the deer itself is still insanely annoying to the point to where it's still going to be kind of a grind for me to even be able to beat floor 3 each week. I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as it would have been before, but there's just some things about the deer and the way that the deer sort of works in these, the second floor and the third floor combined, that sort of make it like just absolutely annoying. So, and what I mean by that is so there's always going to be the factor of me not being able to pull the cards that I need for a specific character. Sometimes it goes around, several turns, and it gets to the point to where I still haven't pulled like an Escanor card or something like that, and it ends up messing me up so bad that I can't progress through the color wheel enough to where the effects that the deer is putting on me for breaking the color rotation is too much for me to handle, and it ends up killing the run, or whatever the case may be. There's still always going to be a big issue there that can kind of screw up the run just from the pure, card draw aspect. But on top of that, the passives that you get on the very last phase of floor 2 are very dependent on whether or not you're going to beat floor 3, which is super annoying, because if you don't know, the basic thing is, hold on one second, I gotta make sure that I don't mess up this color rotation. So blue, red, green, into blue. So the big thing is on floor 3, phase 3, he deletes your cards. He can lower your ultimate move gauge, which makes it insanely hard to gather the cards that you need to go into phase 4 and be able to have a good card set ready, or like a good hand ready to be able to beat the boss. So it's kind of just RNG on whether or not you can make it through phase 3 into phase 4 and still have what you need, on top of the fact that in phase 4 he has a move that removes ultimate move gauge. He has a revive at the very end. You have to do a full rotation of the color wheel before you can start dealing damage to him, and if you wait too long and you're not able to pull the cards that you need soon enough, then you get screwed by the fact that he puts up that 2-turn stance where if you attack into it, you're absolutely just screwed. You can't fight through it or anything, and it's just so much to handle all at one time. It's just kind of insane. So all of those factors kind of together, plus you're having to worry about what passive you end up getting in the end of floor 2, just makes this whole experience just unbearably tedious. And the big thing is, obviously you can reset on floor 2 enough to where you get the right passive or whatever, but it takes so much stamina to run this thing, and just getting to the end of it isn't necessarily a big issue, but it can be kind of time consuming or whatever here and there, because you have to worry about card draw and just doing the content in general, and then you have to worry about just a 33% chance on whether or not you're going to get a good passive or not, because there's 3 passives that you can get. 2 of the passives are really bad and the other passive is really good. It's not like really good to the point to where it's going to make floor 3 easy, but it's going to make it to where you don't have to worry about the passive basically at all. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me actually do the game stuff. So I'm actually not drawing as many green cards as I normally do, so I think I'm going to get rid of that card. We'll get rid of this, and we'll use an Escanor card here. I don't know. I've been kind of disappointed. Like, I thought the color wheel thing was actually kind of a cool mechanic. Like, obviously, ultimately, it's a game. It's a card draw game, like a card game in general. So it's only right that there's going to be some form of RNG that you have to worry about when playing a game like this. Like, I can understand that, but when it comes down to like some of these passives working in tandem with each other, or just having to deal with really harsh passives like back to back on like the last floor, just makes it so hard, like so unnecessarily hard and like just annoying. Like I guess they want it to be like really hard content, and they want you to try it multiple times per week or whatever, but like it's not, nobody wants to run it more than one time a week. They're forced to at that point, which makes people hate it, and that's just really unfortunate to see, kind of. So I mean, you know, it is what it is. You can't really do anything about it. This is the way that the game works. But I'm even though Jormungand is out, and I do like her a lot, and I think she helps out the team a lot, I'm still waiting for either somebody to find like a really solid team that just works a lot better and just synchronizes really well for this fight, or I'm just waiting for maybe a new unit to come out that works, or that will help the fight progress a lot easier, or whatever the case may be. Whether it be like, you know, we still don't have a light unit yet. Maybe the light unit will have something to do with potentially bypassing the color wheel or something like that in a way. I think that would be very, very helpful. Or just honestly, what this fight needs is some way to not have your ultimate move gauge removed, which is, I don't think that there's anything in the game that can prevent your ultimate move gauge from lowering at the moment, but I honestly, for this fight, that's what we need, which is really weird to say. I kind of hope that they maybe implement that some way into her holy relic at some point. I think that would be really nice, but you know, that's all up to them. That's all up to the odds of, you know, whatever they're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and use this. I'll move this so I can try to get Escanor's ultimate. I think we'll throw this out, and I think we're going to get rid of that. So I don't, yeah, we're probably, yeah. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use all 3 of those cards, so it's not going to activate her passive, I don't think. Maybe it, I don't think it did. Kind of unfortunate. See, this is one of the bad passes. This is the passive that makes it to where every time you move a phase up, at the beginning of the phase, you're going to lose 2 ultimate move gauge orbs, which is very bad on floor 3 because you need an ultimate. One of the biggest things is like getting the good RNG to be able to keep your ultimate going into that last phase, and then keeping it for 1 turn after that, because you have to get rid of the color wheel. And it's just having that on top of it, you have to have the cards in your hand to like merge for like the ultimate and stuff like that. It just makes it so much worse. So that is a very bad one. The other one that's really bad is the revive one. The revive one honestly makes it almost impossible as far as I'm concerned. You need to be able to survive so much damage, or just some way to remove the stance that the deer has or something like that, and I don't think that those are options that we have. So let me try to progress some of this really quickly instead of talking too much while I just stare at the camera. But yeah, there's still some things that definitely need to be either like figured out, or a team that can sort of work around these things. I don't know. The deer is just still very tedious. Like I was really hoping that this would make, you know, the deer like not super easy, Like, you know, sometimes even with Magelda and her holy relic and the team being as good as it is for the bird, like you know, sometimes you still end up having like a bad run. You get a bad passive on the last phase of the third floor, and you know it doesn't go the way that you need it to. You get wiped. Like, oh well, you know, it happens every now and then. But for this one to just be as annoying as it is, just right out of the gate, is just, it's so bad. Like, I just hate it. It's so annoying. So I think we should be good at this point. We don't have another red card, so I'm just going to throw out an Escanor card here. But we should be having enough damage here to kill. Honestly, I mean, I skipped floor 1 in this video because I've already done floor 1 1,000 times, and honestly, floor 1's not an issue at this point. I'm not even really going to be able to do this run. I'm not going to be able to beat floor 3 with that passive on unless I just get really lucky, which is kind of unfortunate. And I would love to just be able to show you guys like a run where it's like, oh hey, you know, here's me beating all 3 floors right in a row, easy peasy. But it really isn't that simple, and I wanted it to, you know, the passives on the bird when the bird came out were like, oh man, if you got this passive you need to reset, and I hate that. I don't want to have to reset just because RNG gives me a bad passive. I want to be able to beat through that passive. But with this one right now, with the way things are and the units that we have for it, until we get some better options or somebody finds like a really good team for it, some of these passives are just, they're too harsh to get around, and that is just the unfortunate reality of the whole thing. So I've already beat floor 3 for the week. I do hate the fact that I'm not going to be able to show you guys like me beating floor 3 or whatever, but I kind of wish I would have just recorded it, because it took me several tries. Like, I probably was running it for like 2 hours this morning just trying to beat it, and then once I finally beat it, I still ended up having to run floors 1 and 2 like several times over to get some of the relic materials that I needed for Margaret's relic. But yeah, it's still really tedious as far as I'm concerned. I don't think Jormungand is making it like easy peasy yet, but I think that she is a really strong unit. I think that she is a must-have for the team. Like, I think, you know, she is going to be a staple for the, you know, the team. I don't think that, you know, summoning for her was a problem or like a misstep or anything like that. She's definitely worth having. Hopefully her relic will maybe help with some of the issues that I'm still having with it, but honestly, she's made floors 1 and 2 like so much easier, like miles easier, like leagues easier. But floor 3, just the way the RNG works for this fight specifically, she's just not enough for that to be easy yet. So keep that in mind. So that is pretty much it. I don't have anything else to go over. I already tried to make this video once and it was just me ranting really hard, so I'm going to try to prevent that if possible. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys are using for this fight, what kind of teams you're using and everything, because I know a lot of people use this team, but some people are still using Trader Melee teams, and I'd like to try out one. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.